Welcome back to Down the Lineup. Today I'm here with my co-host Sunny. How are we feeling today?
Good. How interesting week of baseball.
Yep.
Head right into it.
Let's get into it. So the Pirates and the Phillies, they split a four-game series. I believe that was one of the series of the week that we had. Some quick thoughts. You know, Jack Louis is not, like still not getting a lot of run support. I think he's only three, but he has three ERA. And the Pirates continue to look like a young, up and coming team.
Yeah. Pirates look great. They're
Mhm.
exceeding expectations in my opinion. Kind of
Mhm.
playing like they low-key have nothing to lose. They're just a young, fun ball club, kind of like the Reds.
Mhm.
So it's really fun to watch them play. And as the lineup matures, I believe they'll just get better and better.
Yeah, um, kind of hit the point there. Another young team in Baltimore, so they lost a series as Milwaukee takes a series in Baltimore. The Brewers' offense looks amazing. They were putting them runs, especially in the first, second games. Third game kind of faced Corbin Burns, so you're not expected to line him up. But all in all, I'd say pretty positive series for the Brewers.
Yeah. Um, well, I'll talk about the Brewers in a little bit.
Yeah.
So,
Um, Going to our upset picks. So you had the Cardinals going beating the Diamondbacks, and they lost two out of three. So the Diamondbacks were able to take that series.
mhm.
And then for me, I picked the Rockies to win the series against the Blue Jays, and they also fell in two of the three games. So neither of our upset picks hit. Any quick thoughts in either of those two series?
Um, no. Cardinals, I mean, Goldschmidt's hitting like 193 right now. Arenado's not doing as great as he could be. Their superstars just aren't really being superstars.
Mhm.
Um, just sucks for the Cardinals. Kind of need them to pick it up. And that if they can get past their injuries, it's just a slow start for them. I don't have much to say about the Rockies. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say just a quick thought on the Diamondbacks. I forgot which game it was. Might have been the first game where they came back from down six, I believe. I might be wrong on the exact number, but it shows the fight that the Diamondbacks have. Kind of like the team last year, the team that was a little grit and grind, never out of the game type of Diamondbacks. And the Cardinals, like you mentioned, I think the star players are getting a little older and it's starting to show last year and this year. Um, I don't want to say I'm worried for the Cardinals, but I guess I'd say I'm concerned that the Cardinals um, aren't going to be able to kind of bounce back and they're headed into a downward direction. And then the Blue Jays, just a little rebound series after having a tough week last week. Yeah, that's all I have to say. Um, we can go to our locks. So the first lock to lose, the Rangers lost the series to the A's. A's are playing pretty well. What do you think about that series?
Yeah. A's are just playing like they got nothing to lose. They beat Texas in that series, and then they went on and beat the Nats in the next series after. It's kind of fun. It's kind of entertaining watching them.
Mhm.
I don't have much to say. Whole AL West looks a little shaky in my opinion.
Yeah.
Um, and so this season's kind of shown me that last year's stats don't mean anything, first of all.
Mhm.
Um, it's a whole new year, brand new teams, brand new mindsets. So it's really fun.
Yeah. Um, I'd say yeah, the AL West. I mean, we'll get into it a little bit later, but a lot of teams are off to shaky starts that you're not expecting. And then the last prediction recap from last week is the Reds sweeping the White Sox. Uh, Reds young team, good team. White Sox injured, not so good. That's kind of what I got about that. Yeah. So who's your player of the week?
Player of the week is William Contreras from the Brewers. He hit 388 over the last seven days. Guy's just a beast right now, exceeding expectations, just driving in mass amounts of runs right now. His runs, I mean, he's hitting home runs, he's driving in runs, he's doing it all right now. Playing great
Yeah,
defense too.
big in that series against the Orioles. Hit a homer off Corbin Burns and
Yeah.
lost. But yeah, it's great week. My guy is Colton Cowser. He's one of the Orioles' young prospects. in a week where they brought up Jackson Holiday, Colton Cowser's no show. It's not just Jackson. They got more than one young star. Cowser had 4 homers, 6 runs, 12 RBIs, 2 stolen bases. Batted 435. Even though they lost the series, Cowser had a great series. And then in the sweep of the Red Sox, Cowser went deep twice, I believe, in one of the games, and I think went deep in another game. So Cowser, showing the young promise for the Orioles, showing why the Orioles might be a problem in years to come.
Yeah, I mean Orioles are playing great baseball right now. Congratulations to Jackson Holiday, by the way, on his first major league hit. I mean, we were all expecting anyways, but
Yeah.
um yeah, just the future is so bright for this team. They're already competing for a second place spot right now. Whole team is like average. The young guys are so young. The youngest is 20 years old. I mean, it's just crazy to think about how much of a problem this team will be for the next 10 to 20 years.
Yeah, that middle of the infield and like is gonna be crazy with
Yeah,
Gunner, Jackson, and then Hadley.
yeah,
That infield is gonna be crazy in like 1 or 2. It might be this year, but like next year, next in 2 years, it's gonna be somehow like something crazy.
yeah.
Um, and then your team of the week.
Team of the week is the Brewers. They got a run differential of plus 31 right now. Haven't lost a series yet this year. Currently 10 and 4, obviously led by guys like William Contreras. They look awesome. They're showing that despite the absence of Corbin Burns and their old manager Craig Counsell, they're rising above, and that they're more than just those two guys. And they're really, I feel like everyone on that team is really stepping up.
Yeah, Brewer. I mean, that NL Central race is heating up a little
Yeah,
bit.
absolutely.
Much better than we expected. We'll get into that in a little bit. But for my team, I got the Kansas City Royals. This pick is primarily in the first half of the week in the series against Houston. They dominated. They put up runs. I think they put up 9 runs in the first inning on Hunter Brown, and they put up another high amount. So they scored runs in this series. Um, Swept the Astros. Team's looking young, looking good. I think in the AL Central, which is what we believe is the weakest division in the AL. I think um, coming off this hot start and showing that you can beat the Astros is a high confidence booster. Team's young. Another team in the AL is young. Um, but this could be the Orioles of last year, where the young team not expected to do anything and just come out firing and put up like 90 wins.
Yeah. Just to add on to that, KC right now currently has a run differential of plus 37, which is pretty sure leading the league, if I'm
Mhm.
not mistaken. It's just insane how many runs or how much runs they're putting up. But what's even crazier is how much runs they're actually allowing. Just 48 runs allowed, and they're not even scoring a ton. 85 runs. Um, their pitching's just been dominant. Their hitting is on point. I mean, everything's just clicking for them right now at the start of the season.
Yeah, I think you're right there, leading the league in run differential. We get to our previews for next week. So for the series of the week, for me, I have the Orioles at the Royals. This series, two young teams, two up and coming teams. It's going to be like a little foreshadow to the future. I think the start of the series is Rutschman, Bobby Witt, and then you got the young guys and Tony Cowser, Jackson Holiday. The Royals young team. I think it's maybe a little preview into like potential playoff matchups in a couple of years.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, for my series of the week, I had the Brewers and the Padres. Padres just coming off a pretty strong week against the Dodgers. Um, and then the Brewers, just being just absolutely dominant right now. It'll be a really good series to watch. The Padres bats are starting to heat up. Um, it'll be a clash of offenses for sure.
Mhm. Yeah. Before we move on, just bringing it up, the Astros are gonna play the Braves, or sorry, the Braves are gonna play the Astros and then the Rangers. So it's just a series like these are a couple of series where I was like, I was looking at them. The Astros haven't started off so hot, so I didn't pick that one. And I thought about picking the Rangers Braves because it's gonna be
Uh,
interesting to see that one. But I just like the young matchup, a little more exciting.
yeah,
Um, but just yeah, Rangers, Braves, and then Braves, Astros, both series to look out for.
yeah.
The upset series of the week.
For my upset series of the week, I had Houston upsetting the Braves. Houston's
Okay.
currently in last place. We all know Houston's a good team, and they just are off to a really poor start. I feel like this is kind of where they turn it around. It's kind of where they say enough is enough. Where the Houston Astros go out, let's just ball out, you know, and I think they'll be pretty dominant against the Braves. Really hope, really hope we're not doing this podcast a week later and and they got destroyed.
Yeah. For the series of the week or the upset series of the week, I got the Mets with Pirates. Pirates have come out firing. Currently they're tied for first in the NL Central, and the Mets are about 500. This is a series where I think the Mets might come out. Just the team's not performing like to the high New York standards. And I think this is a series where you can see the Mets take a couple over the Pirates, especially. I think this series is in New York, if I'm not mistaken, but I will check. And yeah, I just think like the Mets, this is a series where the Mets kind of get out. Yeah, it's in New York, and this is a series where the Mets maybe show it a little bit. Pirates maybe slow down a little bit. Uh, just kind of mix the two, and might be forming for an upset.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it would be expected, or I guess it wouldn't be shocking if the Pirates slowed down, like you said. As a young team, it's just a matter of how long can they really keep this up. I mean, we were talking about how good they are and how much better they're gonna be and their lineup is really solid, but like you said, it's just a matter of if they can stay consistent or not.
Yeah. And then for the lock of the week, I have the Royals over the Mets in the weekend series. The Royals, they're my team of the week, and I think they're going to continue firing on all cylinders, and I think they're going to be able to take care of the Mets.
Yeah. Like I said, all those stats, the Royals look like they can keep hot. Like just like the Pirates, they're a pretty young team. Got a little bit of veteran presence here and there. So it's just a hit or miss thing. Like, can
Yeah,
they stay consistent? For my lock of the week, I have the Cubs, um, with a lock against the Marlins. Marlins are not playing great defense right now at all. Their defense look like they're in shambles right now. Pretty comparable, honestly, to a D1 defense or even a D2 defense. Um, it's not great. Just feel like there's no communication going on with the team. The hitting just hasn't been great. The pitching, has took a hit with all the injuries. Um, and the Cubs, just coming off that weekend series against the Mariners. Um, and I think they played a team before. They played the Marlins, but I got the Cubs beating the Marlins.
yeah. Marlins have not looked good this season, and I wouldn't say there's much hope either. I don't think this is a something that's just a bad start. I think this is something that like might be concerning if you're a Marlins fan and you were
Yeah,
expecting a repeat playoff appearance. This team doesn't look like they're a team that is motivated nor like good enough to bounce back.
yeah,
So that's the preview, and then the series of next week. Just some quick news before we get into the bulk of the episode. A couple of injuries that we mentioned last week. Spencer Strider is officially undergoing Tommy John surgery, so he's done for the year. Um, and then Trevor Story has officially been announced as out for the year with shoulder surgery. So two guys, two great players, just unfortunate injuries, and two guys that I think unfortunate for Story, just with all the injuries that he's had to go through, and then for Strider, just another victim of the arm stuff.
yeah. Um, for Strider, it's a really big blow to the Braves. First of all, this is a guy they absolutely need in the playoffs, and without him and without his presence, in that rotation, it kind of seems like the Braves are in desperation mode. I want to ask you though, are they desperate enough to take a guy like Trevor Bauer?
I mean, I think Trevor Bauer is he's been out of the league for a little bit. He's still been
Uh,
pitching.
yeah,
I'm not sure what the process of like rehab or getting accustomed to MLB is.
yeah,
I mean, he's a Cy Young winner,
yeah,
and he's not that far removed from that Cy Young.
yeah,
So we're not talking about like 8 years.
yeah,
It's been like 4 years maybe.
yeah,
Um, and the Braves, their pitching without Strider is significantly worse. I mean, Strider was a Cy Young candidate, and without him, you don't have the top of the rotation like pop.
mhm,
But at the same time, I mean, I'm not sure what the MLB like perspective on Bauer is. It's just that like if he hasn't gotten the opportunity by now with all the arm injuries, is is it like is it him or is it the league? Because clearly like clearly like if the league you know wasn't out on Bauer, he'd probably have a job by now. And the fact that he doesn't makes me wonder, is there something within like the owners saying like, hey, we're not gonna allow this guy back in the league?
yeah,
But I mean, like from pure skill wise, absolutely the Braves should go out and get Bauer. It's just like everything else that comes with it. Do you want that in the locker room? Do you want that associated with your team? So for that reason, I'm skeptical on like whether or not they're gonna actually gonna pick up Bauer.
yeah. Other guys or another guy they have been rumored to pick up is Jesus Luzardo from the
Mhm.
Marlins. Those trade talks have actually been going on for a couple months, apparently, a few months now.
Okay.
So that could be a great lefty, add to the rotation. He's a solid pitcher. Um, and with a powerful lineup like the Braves, I
Mhm.
feel like Luzardo could really shine there. They also got a couple guys in their minor leagues that they could pick up. So it'll be interesting to see what direction they're going to take, but they can't just stay like this. So they're going to have to make something happen.
Yeah, I mean, just something quick. Do you think you could have too many lefties in a rotation?
Um, I think baseball's all about balance.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't want a lefty heavy lineup or rotation, I mean, or a righty heavy rotation
Mm-hmm.
necessarily. Same thing for my bullpen. I just think I want as many options as possible. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Because there might be like righties who can't hit lefties, lefties who can't hit righties, etc.
right.
Or flip it. You know what I'm saying? It's just I feel like the more options you have, the more complete a team is. So that's why
I
I
see.
struggle with yeah, sorry. That's why I struggle with teams like the Mariners who have like a five-man righty rotation.
Mm-hmm.
It's just it hurts my head honestly because it's like there's just no balance and like to add on to it like their best bullpen pitchers are also righties
Mm-hmm.
besides like Taylor Saucedo and Gabe Spire but like it's like there's just no balance within the team.
Mm-hmm. The reason why I asked that is because if you pick up Bauer or if you pick up Luzardo, you're doing it for the postseason.
Yeah,
Like if you're the Braves, you're not looking for a guy who can get you through the season. You're
yeah,
looking for a guy who can help you win a World Series. And I'm looking at the rotation right now. So Max Breed probably steps into the one. If you bring in Luzardo, he'll probably be the two starter. In a 7 game series, you're going to need four starters. Charlie Morton will be the third starter, probably,
yeah,
and then Chris Sale will be your fourth.
yeah,
And, in the playoffs, where you face the same team over and over, right? That's 3 out of 4 pitchers who are lefties.
yep,
And I feel like, it's good if you face a team that's dominated.
uh-huh,
But if you face a team like the Phillies, who they've been bounced out twice, Schwarber and Harper are lefties, and then you got Trey Turner, Castellanos, and like Alec Bohm. They're all righties, so like they have balance.
yeah,
And if you have like a lefty dominated rotation, when you face a team with balance, you're bound to like what do you call it? Cave in a little bit and like
yeah,
someone like you get a greater chance for someone to have a hot start. Kind of like the opposite of the Mariners, If you get a lefty star like Jordan Alvarez, he probably dominated the series against the Mariners just because
yeah,
everyone's a righty.
yeah,
So that's like I mean, obviously you're not really thinking about it, but it might be a spot for concern if you're really into like the advanced analytics stuff.
yeah. um The other injury we had was Trevor Story. Feel really bad for him. This guy cannot catch a break to save his life. It's a big blow to the Red Sox, low key, because the Red Sox are actually playing really good baseball right now. And to miss out on a guy whose bat has been kind of meh over the years ever since he left, Colorado, but who really still shines as a shortstop on defense. I feel like it's a huge blow for the Red Sox and for what
Yeah.
they could have possibly like become this year.
Mhm. Just something quick. Recording this around noon on Monday, and the Red Sox game has already happened. And in that game, Tyler O'Neill, Rafael Devers collided on a pop fly. Yet to come on what the severity of those injuries are, but from like initial reports, it wasn't a light collision. So Red Sox can't catch a break. I
Yeah.
mean, I feel like the Red Sox have so many injuries. Like
Mhm.
their injured list probably like could be a good team itself.
Mhm.
For the bulk of our episode, we're gonna be going to overreactions through the first half month of the season. So the first one. So in this, I'm gonna read out a statement, and then you let me know if you think it's an overreaction to say this, or if you think
Mhm.
it's not an overreaction.
Yep.
So for the first one, we'll start off in the AL East. The Yankees are the best team in baseball. Is that an overreaction in your opinion?
I don't think so. I think the Yankees are actually the best team in baseball right now. With the
Okay.
way they're playing. They're not even playing to their full potential either. Judge hasn't really heated up yet. Giancarlo hasn't really heated up yet. There is no Garrett Cole, and they're still dominating the league. Um, in my opinion, as of right now to this recording, they're the best team in baseball.
Yeah, I said non-overreaction, but
Mm,
I did qualify that a little bit by saying the Dodgers, like in terms of like team, I think the
mhm.
Dodgers have a better like team on
On
paper.
on paper,
Yeah, but
yeah,
I said like in terms of playing right now, I think the Yankees are the best team playing wise.
yeah.
Um, like you said, Judge hasn't heated up. Glaber's been down, but the guys have stepped up. You got Volpe's looks
Mhm,
amazing. Soto's getting walks, getting hits. I mean,
mhm.
this dude's on base every game. And then Oswaldo Cabrera stepping up. In the absence of DJ LeMahieu, I think when this team gets fully if this team and when this team gets fully clicking, I think it's gonna be scary for any team that faces it. Especially
Absolutely.
with Garrett Cole not being here and the
Yeah.
rotation still being one of the best in baseball.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, if this team gets fully healthy and gets hot going into the stretch, I think this team's absolutely a World Series team. Um, like I said, if they face the Dodgers, it's gonna just depend on who's hot and who steps up. But I say yeah, not overreaction.
Yeah.
The second one I have is the Astros are gonna finish under 500.
That
Initially,
is,
yeah.
yeah, you can go,
Before
you go, you go, you go.
initially I had this as they're gonna miss the playoffs,
Uh-huh.
but I think I decided to make this a little more severe and say the Astros are gonna finish under 500.
Uh-huh.
And in both cases, I think it's an overreaction. We've seen teams with slow starts go on like heated, go on like crazy runs. I mean, 2019 Nationals started 19 and 31, I believe, and
Yeah.
they still won the World Series. So I don't think it's time to panic yet for the Astros. I'd be concerned. I mean, something needs to change there. You know, Joe Espada taking over Dusty Baker. Not sure if that's any different, but when you go through a managerial change, things are changing. And I think right now it's just a little feeling out here between the two. I do expect the Astros to get back on track. So I'm gonna say it's a non-overreaction. Oh, I'm
It's
gonna
no,
say it's
yeah,
overreaction.
yeah,
It's an
yeah. Okay.
overreaction. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
I
not
agree.
gonna. Yeah.
I
It,
agree 1,000%. It's way too early to say that. New manager, there's an adjustment period, obviously, with how like he wants to approach the game and with how the team wants to approach the game. Yeah, it's an overreaction. I mean, maybe miss the playoffs, like maybe, but but under 500 for a team this good, who's had this amount of success as this group for so long, it's way too much of an overreaction at this point, at least.
the next one, this is one that you brought up. The Mariners need to rebuild. I think for this one, it's primarily on the hitting.
Yeah.
This team cannot hit to save their lives. I mean, living in Seattle, watching these games, they're batting 204. It feels like they're batting 104. I mean, it just feels like they just can't get a hit. Um, they don't score runs. Their quote unquote star players are not
Yeah,
hitting,
yeah.
and you do wonder: is it time for the Mariners to rebuild, maybe shake it up a little bit?
Um, I don't know, but something needs to change, right? I mean, they're hitting 204 as a team. They're slugging 308 with an OPS of 590 and an on-base percentage of 282. They have 167 strikeouts, right, as a team. So the strikeout problem isn't fixed at all. If you want to compare it to other teams that, strike out as much as them, the only team that looks as bad as them is the Athletics. And the Athletics still have a higher OPS, higher slugging, and higher and like a .002 on base percentage less. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
The Mariners just cannot hit. And then there are teams, that have struck out more, like a little bit more, like the Dodgers. But I mean, the Dodgers make up for that with a 264 average as a team, slugging 439 with an OPS of 780. You know what I'm saying? They can, it doesn't, I don't think the problem necessarily is striking out. Like everyone strikes out. The game is hard, but they can't hit to make up for it. And so they're just grounding out. If it's not a strikeout, it's a ground out or a fly out.
Mhm.
There's no hitting within the team right now. I honestly think the team there needs to be some change because we can't just keep doing this over and over and over again.
Yeah. Yeah. So do you think it's an overreaction or non-overreaction to say they
I
need to
don't think
rebuild?
it, I think it's a non-overreaction. I think we need to build the team again around Julio, and Julio needs to freaking figure it out.
Yeah. Um, I'd say I don't think they need to rebuild per se. They need to retool
Yeah.
because what they have right now. I mean, I think the system that they want to create isn't what it's created. I mean, back when you had last year, you had Teoscar, Gino Suarez. It was a home run, like built on home runs. They're gonna strike
Mhm.
out, but they're gonna hit
Mhm.
homers.
Yeah.
This team, in the offseason, they wanted to fix that problem. Less strikeouts, more contact. But it's become the same thing. They can't, they don't, they strike out a lot. They don't hit for average, and they don't even get home runs either.
Yeah.
And the guys, there's guys who you're not worried about. Like JP, I'm not too worried about him. He's still walking. He's still got a good eye. And Julio, been known to start off slow. But it's just the guys at the bottom. With Canton injured, Mitch Garver, he's in the same mode of a home run or strikeout type of guy.
Yeah.
Josh
Guys,
Rojas.
Luis Arias. I mean,
Um,
just the list just keeps going on and on.
mhm. Outside Pat France, I mean, none of these guys gives you hope early in the season that the Mariners are going to be fine. But I will say, the Mariners go through this every year. They start off slow, and everyone kind of counts them out, and then in late July, early August, they go on a run, and they get into that wild card race, and they maybe just squeak in, they just miss the playoffs. They're going to finish, above 500, around 90 wins, but is it enough?
And then we're gonna talk about at the end of the year how, oh man, if we just won some of the games at the beginning of the year, we wouldn't be in
Mhm.
this spot or whatever. It's the same thing every year.
Yeah.
Something needs to change.
Mhm.
I don't know what it is. I don't care what it is.
Mhm.
But along with the lineup, the players just have no plan when they step up to the plate. Every game I've seen so far, it's like we're taking fastballs just right down the middle, and then we're swinging at like something way off the plate. You know what I'm saying? It's like
Yeah.
there's no plan with the hitting. I know I'm not like an MLB certified hitting coach or anything, but I mean anyone can see it right now that the Mariners have a problem. So something needs to change.
Yeah. Just to kind of wrap that up, Donald Clase, one of the Mariners' top prospects, is being called up
Yeah.
for the series, and we are going to the game on Tuesday against the Reds. So hopefully he'll bring a little more hope and give us something to look forward to.
Is he supposed to
Um,
play today?
I'm not sure if he's going to play today, but he's been called up.
Yeah.
So I'll be surprised if he does play today, maybe tomorrow, maybe Wednesday. Just in this Red Series, probably with Canzone being injured.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, on a more positive overreaction, the Royals are going to be your AL Central winners.
It's a little bit of an overreaction right now. I think the
Yeah.
division is a little close. We've only played like 20 games.
Mhm.
Um, this isn't like this isn't you know, like the Royals aren't proven winners either right now, as of lately. Or
Mhm.
I mean, as of lately, as of like, the past year, 2 years or so. So I think that's a bit of an overreaction to say.
Okay, so this is the first one I disagree with you. I think this is not a reaction. And this is based purely solely off of what I've been seeing from the other teams. The Royals, I mean, they're young, but they play in a quote unquote easy division. I mean, the White Sox haven't looked good. Tigers, they're above 500, but in the long term, I'm not sure if that's going to stand. The Twins, who I thought were going to be the top of the division, they're under 500 right now, and I'm not sure if they're going to get like if they're going to. I think they're going to be a 500 team. So I think if the Royals can get to 85 to 90 wins, I think it puts them in a good chance to win the division. The Guardians are the only team where I'd say like that could be like the team that uh, kind of takes control and like starts to get going.
Hmm.
But I said it's not a reaction to say that they're the Central winners just because they look so good and their pitching. I mean, their pitching looks serviceable to borderline good.
Hmm.
They have Brady Singer, Cole Reagans, both of them look good. And then you have like some of the back end guys who just if they can just like take care of games that they need to take care of against the Angels, A's, White Sox, and and Twins, Tigers maybe. That's a handful of wins in the AL where if you stack them up, that gives them a good chance to take the division.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay. Interesting.
yeah, this is a two-parter. Neither Oakland nor the Angels finished last in the AL West. So it's going to be a team. It's going to be Houston, Texas, or the Mariners that finished last in the AL West. Is that an overreaction?
I don't know how to answer this one honestly because Oakland, the A's low-key look pretty decent low-key because they're just playing like they have nothing to lose, like we said before.
Mhm.
I don't know. I want to know what you think about this one.
I said it's an overreaction.
Yeah.
The thing is, I mean, both teams are under 500. They look good, but they're still under. And I mean, I do expect Houston to bounce back, so I don't think they're going to finish last. Seattle, I mean, they're bound to go on a stretch at some point, in my opinion. And I mean, we see this with the Angels all the time. They start off, there are teams like the opposite of the Mariners. They start off strong. You're like, oh, this is the year the Angels finally, get Trout that playoff appearance. And this is the worst team they've had in what, like 7 years?
Yeah.
The fact that both teams are under, they I just don't think that one of them. I think I'm sorry. I don't think that both of them um, maintain this like hot start. I think at least one of them drops off um, and finishes last in the division.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say it is an overreaction to say neither Oakland nor the Angels finish
Yeah.
last in the AL
Okay.
West. Moving to the NL, we have the NL Central produces four playoff teams. So when I was making this one, I was thinking of so the Brewers are 10-4,
Hmm.
Pirates are 11-5, and then the Cubs and the Reds are both 9-6, over 500. So I know it's early on, but if the playoffs started today, the NL Central would have four playoff teams.
Uh-huh.
So I was wondering, is it no reaction to say the NL Central produces four playoff teams?
Yeah, I think it is an overreaction just
Mhm,
because literally none of those four teams are like proven playoff like contenders.
mhm,
Like they're all like don't get me wrong, they're all off to a great start. I've praised the Brewers and the Pirates numerous times throughout the podcast, but when it comes to matters of like playoff baseball and the last like 30 games, 20 games of the season, all four teams are just not proven to like, show up in those moments. And a lot of it's because a lot of their players haven't even been in those moments to begin with.
mhm,
They're all such young guys, and so I think it's an overreaction to say I think I'm not even guaranteeing any of them to make the playoffs right now.
mhm.
I think it's just really iffy with them.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's an overreaction. I think it's interesting that right now the NL
Yeah,
Central has been off so hot, but I think at most
things will
I see two teams in that division making the playoffs.
things will
I
even out
I
usually.
think yeah, I think the Phillies are gonna bounce back. They're
Yeah.
good on paper. I think they just been off to a little slow start. And then the Diamondbacks, I think they make their way in. Diamondbacks are a good team. I think they make their way in. Obviously, the Braves and the Dodgers are the top of the divisions in my assumptions. So I'd say, yeah, I think at most two teams make the playoffs. But I will say, if a third team were to make it, I would not be surprised. Particularly, I'd say the Cubs, just because they have guys on their team who
Yeah.
were Belgium's a World Series champ. Swanson's also a World Series champ.
Yeah.
So they have guys who have like their core guys. They have guys within who
Yeah.
have made the runs. They know what it's like, what it takes to make the runs. I think the Brewers and the Pirates, I'd say, are the two teams I'd say have better chance to make it.
Yeah.
Just because the Brewers, they have like a team that they did it last year. Obviously, they missed their manager and their ace last year, but I think they still have like guys who who went through the process and going to the playoffs. And then the Pirates are a young up and coming team. I think they have the potential. So I think that's another team. I mean, between the Cubs and the Pirates, I see one of them, maybe both of them making it, but I'm gonna say
Yeah.
it's an overreaction to say
Yeah.
all four make it. And then the last one we have, the Dodgers are gonna make the World Series. There's no competition in the NL.
To say that, I feel like would be an overstatement. Tony's never even played playoff baseball. I mean, he's a
Yeah.
clutch. I mean, don't get me wrong though. Like he was him during WBC, so like we know he'll dominate the playoffs probably. I need to see them play against teams like the Brewers and the Braves, just to see like where this lineup exactly stacks up. It's not really the lineup I'm concerned about. It's the rotation and it's the bullpen for me. We don't have Clayton Kershaw. We don't have Walker Buehler. Glasnow shoving right now. He's him. Paxton's a little iffy. He's just old. He's not the dominant, 100-mile-per-hour thrower he used to be,
Mhm.
or high 90s. Um, guys like Gavin Stone, are just really iffy right now. So it's interesting.
Yeah. The one thing, I mean, obviously, like on paper doesn't win games. You have
Yeah,
to perform the field.
yeah,
But with Strider's injury and knowing he's going to be out for the season,
yeah,
I mean, before the season, like we said, it's between the Braves or the Dodgers. It's between one of those two teams.
yeah,
And with the Braves losing their ace, their superstar Cy Young pitcher, it opens a door for like the Dodgers to just cruise away. I mean,
yeah.
obviously they have to take care of business, but I said it's not overreaction, just because the Dodgers were 100-win team last year, um, dealing with all those injuries.
True.
Did Bueller play last year?
No, not at all.
Right. So you're getting Walker Bueller, and you're getting him mid-season, so he has time to ramp up.
Bobby Miller will come back. He just got
Right.
placed on the injured list, which is just another freaking blow.
And I mean, the Dodgers are going to they're better from last year. They got
Yeah,
Yamamoto and they got Otani
yeah.
to a team that won 101 games,
100 games, I believe.
100 games.
Yeah,
So, I mean, this team, they lost the Diamondbacks last year because of their rotation. And now they're getting two guys, maybe a third,
yeah,
that I could argue three guys that weren't there last year who might just replace like all the stars last year. I mean, last year their playoff rotation was Kershaw, Lance Lynn, and was it
Bobby Miller.
Bobby Miller, right?
Yeah,
In a 5-game series, you could argue that none of those guys made any starts. When you
yeah.
when you have
We
Yamamoto,
got
Glasnow,
Glass
and
now
Bueller.
and Bobby. I mean, Bobby Miller. I feel like Bobby Miller did the best.
Right. And what I'm saying is like, in a 4-game series, yeah, but you have five solidified stars who,
Yeah,
you trust. Kershaw,
yeah,
maybe bring him as a bullpen guy, maybe a spot starter, a guy
yeah,
who gets you like 3 or 4 innings.
yeah,
But I mean, you got three guys who weren't there last year who are there now. They're hitting his improved with Otani. Um, and the Braves don't have their guy. Unless, an underdog team, knocks them out again. I don't see a world where there's another team that contends with the Dodgers.
yeah.
Um, yeah, like I just think the Dodgers now that Strider's out, the Dodgers are on their own level right now in the NL, and there's the expectation and a higher expectation that this is a World Series team. Yeah.
pretty
Any
solid.
last thoughts?
No, I do agree. Um, it's not like the Braves necessarily progressed either. They regressed, and I guess it's true the Dodgers did progress. I think the only team right now that actually does stack up with them is the Brewers
Mhm.
offensively. They're not the Brewers aren't as much of a powerhouse on paper right now, but they are hitting way better than the Dodgers in my opinion.
Yeah, with the Brewers, the only thing I don't trust is their pitching, especially in a series,
Yeah,
like a three-game series.
yeah,
And yeah, the Dodgers are another team that balance, like we talked about earlier. You know,
yeah,
they have the option to go righty, lefty, righty, lefty.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that for me, that's not an overreaction. All right, well, that's the episode. Thank you guys for listening, and we'll be back next week. See ya.